Welcome back to the European LCS. I'm joined by Djemel and Trevor Quickshot Henry for a breakdown of how ROC managed to pull out that win. And guys, we got to touch on the Maokai first off. It was last pick, and we heard Zaza say, well, I didn't really care who I was up against because it was going to work anyway. What were your guys' take?
Yeah, I also like the fact that he said he didn't care. He feels it's the second best pick behind Grzegorzewski. Grzegorzewski, of course, was banned out, and they actually fulfill a similar role. They both build tanky, they're both very disruptive in team fights, and they mostly there for the peel and the protection to the rest of the team. But I definitely think it performed well, and Zazas had a great game.
First of all, I think it's great that Zazas is branching out to new champions. But I also want to touch quickly on the Caitlyn pick out again. Jadifisio mentioned it earlier on with Lucian now out for 4.12, that Genja's options seem to be very, very limited. And I'd like to see him going back to the likes of Kog'Maw that he used to be fantastic on, because up until now, you know, Caitlyn, Lucian being his two picks, when one's automatically out, it's kind of easy to know where Genja's going to go, and maybe even ban that Caitlyn away from him in the future.
Yeah, good point. On the other hand, we saw Diamond coming out with not a new pick, but something we haven't seen in a while. Kha'Zix coming out again, a small buff to him in the patch, but Trevor, really not that impactful.
No, it wasn't. It was a very small addition to his damage and his Q. The last time we seen Kha'Zix was in the hands of KottenX. He picked it in a panicky state, and both performances were below average. Diamond had no presence. He was not a threat. That poke comp that they were trying to get to allow Kha'Zix to get the resets never came to fruition. And Gambit and Diamond struggled. He pulled out Rengar last week and had no presence. Diamond is not the same terrifying jungler he once was.
I'd actually like to have seen him picked up the Elise when they were hovering over that earlier on, rather than letting that go over the other side to ROC, because I think that Diamond, whilst it's great to see him pull out the likes of Rengar, of Rammus, for example, it's obviously not doing Gambit any good in the long term. I mean, take the Elise when Lee Sin and Evelynn are gone.
Yeah, and when you touch on the Elise, of course, a Kha'Zix and an Elise in a game, yet no early pressure from any of the sides. What do you think caused this kind of slow start from both teams?
Well, I think for ROC, it was a comfort factor. You know, Maokai wanted to get 2 items. He wanted his Rod of Ages and some tankiness. Fizz really needs to get to a Lich Bane and some AP. And a similar vein with Kog'Maw. He wants his Trinity Force, maybe Cutlass or Blade before they start fighting. So I feel like ROC were quite comfortable to just extend the laning phase, farm up fairly well. They weren't really under kill pressure all that much. And even though they gave up, you know, first blood, it wasn't a game changer. So ROC played it smart, and we've seen in the team fights, we've seen them roaming and pushing around objectives. It was strong, it was coordinated, it was controlled.
Yeah, and I think that's the key thing with ROC. We've already heard them say, we're not so comfortable, we're scared of making mistakes, so they don't take risks. And we saw them baiting in around Baron, taking a fight. Even then, you know, they managed a couple of kills. They didn't push in and finish off the game straight away. They did everything by the book. And this is a ROC that wins games, a safe, controlled ROC. They only need to keep doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's actually take a look at one of their team's fights. I'll get that up on the screen because it also illustrates, as Zazu said, how annoying that Maokai can be if played correctly.
Yeah, so the first thing I want to highlight just before we see the play, 31 minutes on the clock, Gambit of 5,000 gold down. The reason I highlight that fact, or 4,000 in fact, is Gambit have not been this small of an amount behind in their last 9 games. So this is actually a better performance, but it is still a bad performance from Gambit. Let's roll this clip out, and you'll see Diamond. 1-0-1. Nobody was really afraid of him, and Overpower's just going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at him. Zazas with an awesome trip downtown. Gets pulled 3 screens away, basically. And we can roll the rest of the clip at full speed. Picks up the kill. Rocket are just going to surround Gambit and continue chasing. And that's a Sunfire Cave as well as Rod of Ages and the Frozen Heart for Zazas. He's not going down anytime soon. They pick up almost a kill in Genja before grabbing Baron. This was the first Baron of the game. It took a little while longer to close it out, but it was just complete control. From here on out, Gambit had no chance.
Also think that Fizz is a champion right now that you have to ban. We've heard the fact that last week, in fact, I think 7 out of 8 games Fizz was actually banned. We already heard from Deficio about how the Athenes change unless MR really helps Fizz get going. And I think Fizz, especially with someone like Overpower, has already proved that he can do well on that champion. You've got to start to think of banning that one away from them.
Yeah, good stuff from ROC. But then on the other side, of course, as we heard, Gambit is now eliminated out of the playoffs. They will be relegated. And guys, a couple of words about what this means for the team and going forward.
Okay, so first of all, that was their best, worst performance of recent weeks. It is a 10-game losing streak. looking to break that Dragonborn's record, which isn't great. But what is good to see is a little more synergy, a little more cohesion between the players. They now need to try and do battle with the Wolves to try and take away 7th position. So Gambit will be looking to win the rest of the games, hoping Wolves lose the rest, and if they can pick one of the challenger squads in the promotion tournament, that is a long way to helping them re-qualify for LCS next year. And it's all about building synergy, practice, and training for the team.
I almost feel like Gambit might even perform better now because Worlds is completely off the table for them. There's no pressure on that front. And they can almost use these last games to try and overtake the Copenhagen Wolves because, as you rightly pointed out, if they get 7th, they get to pick as the last team that gets to pick, albeit. But I think if they end up 8th, there's a very real chance that they could end up against a team like Ninjas in Pyjamas and Alex Ich. And that story has got horror written all over it for Gambit.
Yeah, it is actually weird to think about if you think of the history of Gambit, what is going on with them now, but we wish them the best of luck, of course. Now we're going to send it over to Djemel and the Fisho, but first, the Wolves have recently added a new jungler and mid laner. And while Brokenshard has been on the scene for a while, Soren is harder for Millennium to prepare for.
Brokenshard has been playing a lot against, like, he's been around for a while. So obviously we know how he plays, and we also saw in NALCS, so we can scout him a little bit. But for Soren, you just only know what he plays in solo queue, so he's better scouting in solo queue basically.
Well, Jree saying he knows all about Brokenshard, and he knows all about that losing record. He was on that Dragonborn team, unfortunately for him. Let's see.
Well, he qualified with them. He didn't actually play. It was Maluna.
That's very true. It's very true. He did qualify with them. Nevertheless, let's get the next game underway, ladies and gentlemen. It is a big match. It is Millennium facing the Copenhagen Wolves. And Millennium, while they have that 3rd place position in the table, it doesn't really reflect the head-to-head between these teams because currently the Copenhagen Wolves lead 2-1 despite only being 7th in the table. Of course, their last match only being just 2 weeks away. Last week, though, Millennium, they had a strong week, beating both SK Gaming and ROC in traditional Millennium scrappy style. They looked for picks and kills, and they found them all over the map.
And we have to give full credit to Millennium's duo lane. They looked so good. Jree, the main engage on Leona, played it twice last week, and it worked in every game for him. Creaton, he racked up kills on Corki. A new champion he's been picking up here. His stats on Corki is insane. 16 kills, 2 deaths, and 16 assists in 2 games. It's very impressive. It's very important for me, however, that Millennium expands their champion pool before the playoffs, because if we take Creaton as an example, he played 12 games as Lucian, who's now banned here in 4.12, and then only 3 games as Corki as the next most played champion. So Millennium is a very predictable team, which could hurt them when you go into playoffs and these best out of 5 matches.
Yeah, and that's, of course, with the time when your champion pool matters most. Of course, everybody gets statistical on you and analyzes everything you can do. And of course, the Wolves, well, they had some changes of their own last week, and while their opening game didn't exactly go so well for them against a very much on-form Fnatic, they bounced back very strong against SK Gaming.
100%, and the 2 new players, they really performed against SK Gaming. Brokenshard on Jarvan, he got his lanes ahead, and he played very aggressive. And then Soren, he got his main champion Orianna, and he looked both strong and confident. Jree just said before here how it's a bit hard to scout Soren because he's a solo queue player. It's not hard to predict Orianna is his main champion, because he has like 100+ games on Orianna compared to the rest of his mid laners here. So it should be an easy ban for Millennium in this game here. We also see improved shot calling from the Copenhagen Wolves. They secure objectives, they pick the right fights most of the time, and overall it's looking better because they are still chasing a playoff spot, and they still have a chance. 6 games remaining, and they're 4 games behind Rocket. So if Rocket starts losing a lot of games and the Copenhagen Wolves can win the next 5 games, should
well,
playoff spot right in.
It's Woolite, the star man, I think I can say, from Copenhagen Wolves, looked in high spirits there. He was having a fun time with that hand warmer, of course. Everybody knows that's what helps the pros. So let's check out the starting lineups for these 2 teams. On the blue side, it is Millennium. That means in the top lane, it's Steady Eddie Kevin. He's always been reliable up that top lane. Jungle is KottenX. Kerp in the mid lane. Creaton is AD carry. And Jree, his amazing Leona last week, on support.
And on the red side, we have the Copenhagen Wolves with YoungBuck in the top lane, Brokenshard in the jungle, Soren as the mid laner, Woolite on AD carry, and Unlimited as the support.
So, before we get to picks and bans, let's tally up your votes from lolesports.com. With 75% of you voting, it looks like Millennium will be taking this victory according to you guys.
So Millennium 2-0 last week, looked very strong. I want to see if KottenX also prepare something special here. Really want to try and do like a counter pick composition from KottenX, like get Morgana, get Lulu as maybe an early pick here to make sure it's not so easy for Millennium to just lock down a target, pick up an easy kill, and then get towards objectives. Because it's all they do. They never go for like dragons or barons by outsmarting you. It's by running straight in your face and kill you, and then they'll take objectives.
Well, Millennium are all about the kills, and the Wolves have certainly been not ones to shy away from that.
True.
Thinking back to the LCS London, their game against Alliance. In fact, Alliance, they've got a 2-1 head-to-head lead over. They have a 2-1 head-to-head over Millennium, despite being in 7th place. So this is one of the teams they do well against. Well, what is it that would do that? Well, I mean, is it simply the pick comp they can counter it? Well, what is it that gives them the edge here?
Yeah, it could definitely be because they can counter pick comp here. We need to see what they will do here in Champ Select.
Yeah.
I think Soren, sadly, won't get his Orianna. Should be a ban from Millennium. And then on the KottenX Wolves side... Straight away, okay. Was an obvious one. When a guy plays so much Orianna, ban it away. He played against SK last week and destroyed SK Gaming as well.
And something, of course, you did talk about is the AD carries. Lucian is banned in 4.12. Had that rework, of course, so won't be available. That could impact on Creaton quite heavily. Has differed in terms of number of champions, but it was his most played champion, as it was majority of AD carries.
Yeah.
Long wait on the bans here, of course. Copenhagen Wolves do miss one ban because of the pause last week. It was I can't remember the exact name for it. It's when they basically, it's an illegal pause.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you lose a ban.
I'm sure there's a technical name for it that the referees give it.
So it actually means, I think KottenX Wolves wanted to ban multiple mid lane champs here. Kassadin, Fizz, and Twisted Fate. Now they have to choose. Do we leave Kassadin open, even though... Actually, they could leave Kassadin open because Millennium, they don't play Kassadin. They normally ban it themselves, even though they're blue side. So if Kassadin is left open here, it might actually mean KottenX Wolves can take it.
We'll see how that one works out. Brian was taken away. Millennium...
ban the Kassadin.
I'm going to ban Kassadin, so...
TF probably
last
from KottenX Wolves.
No, Twisted Fate is open then, so Aatrox was banned away. Interesting. Taking that one away. It means Gragas is out there. Every single jungler's out there. Big choice of mid laners. There's a lot of pressure on Millennium, and it means generally it is going to be a Lee Sin for KottenX, so they're favoring that one over all of the mid lane champion choices.
I wonder if Soren actually plays TF. Millennium put a lot of focus here on getting their jungler. Give away Gragas. He's been a top pick now for all the top laners, and Twisted Fate. So two of the best picks when it comes to top lane and mid lane, just by the fact you get Lee Sin here. So KottenX, you better make some plays.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting match already. The Wolves trying to see if they can open something up. What will Millennium choose, of course? At the new, generally, they were going to be able to see that. We just heard Zaza saying Maokai potentially the second best pick in that top lane. I wonder if we see that. Corki counter could be good. It's worked well for Creaton. The few times he played it, it's got incredible stats on it, honestly.
Yeah, been very, very strong, and he likes to play it with Jree, who loves to play Leona, and you just have this lane where you constantly proc the passive as well, and you have a lot of all-in damage. So been a very good pick for him, and the fact that KottenX Wolves didn't either ban it, because again, they only had 2 bans, so didn't early pick it, should mean Creaton will be happy. Woolite should actually also be the AD carry who is the least affected by the fact Lucian is disabled. He only played it 5 times. He also has Twitch 5 games, and Tristana could be a good pick for him.
Tristana would be an interesting pick. Brokenshard played Jarvan last week to great effect, turning a number of ganks around basically in their favor. But for Creaton, sorry, we talked about those incredible Corki stats. 27 kills, 2 deaths, 28 assists. That is an incredible KDA.
It's fantasy points.
That is a lot of fantasy points.
It's a very, very good stats for him. Blitzcrank from Mr. Jree. He did play it before, and he's the guy to really play Blitzcrank here in
It's a tricky one against the Tristana, though. I mean, he's just going to pounce straight away.
Well, the good thing is you can actually stop him midair while he jumps. Also with your knock-up, so it could be a counter to Tristana. If you do get in close, he tries to jump away. You just knock him in the air.
Hello!
Faker, faker, faker.
So, where is this going?
Mid lane.
It's a mid lane.
Yasuo top lane, Zilean mid lane.
Interesting, interesting. So Kevin fancying himself as the Yasuo, and as we saw Faker playing Zilean just the other day, despite getting knocked out of the OGN, it worked out great success. It was the only game that SK Telecom T1K won, and with Faker on that Zilean. Let's see if Kerp can react with his trackball and see if that works out for them.
A lot of mid-game focus here by Millennium.
Yeah.
Corki, very, very strong in the mid-game. Zilean, very strong in the mid-game. Also in the early game. But late game-wise, They do have Yasuo, who's strong in the late game, but still, the Copenhagen Wolves lineup look very, very good if you look towards the late game here. So I think Millennium needs to make sure they can close the game before someone like Woolite gets his 4, 5, 6 items, and he will become an absolute monster, and the same can be said about Soren in the mid lane.
So knock-up potential works well for Kevin in that lineup as well. Looks like it will be a Blitzcrank for Unlimited here. Interesting. So it's worked well. Jree knows exactly what it's about, and it's all about Hook City between the two supports. See if they can hook each other. Interesting picks from these two teams. I feel this could be a bit of a wild ride, this game.
Yeah, we could definitely see a lot of action early on. Millennium, they need to force some fights here. They have a very, very good mid-game comp, and they have a lot of knock-ups as well for Kevin to try and set up his ult. And Copenhagen Wolves, a lot of pick potential because you have Twisted Fate, because you have Blitzcrank, and even Jarvan to help set it up. So a lot of ways they can set up kills here and force team fights or force ganks with Soren going down, land hook from Unlimited, and TF joins in. You're dead in this bottom lane. There's no way out, unless, of course, everyone from Millennium is waiting, but probably won't happen.
It's amazing how much the pick and ban phase does open up sometimes. With just that one ban going away, it opens up all sorts of possibilities. Of course, we'll see how this one turns out for these two teams. Of course, now that we know the lineups, who do you think will take this one? Tweet us #MILWin or #CWWin to @LOL Esports. We'll see who you think came out ahead.
This could be a very painful lane for Soren early on Twisted Fate against the Cillian. So annoying. In, bump your face, walk away, and it's so hard to deal with. But late game wise, he should be stronger. So it's important for Millennium. They do get these early mid game team fights before a Cillian. When it comes to real late game points, your damage kind of falls off and you become more of a support. But still, if you get a good start, you can kind of kickstart yourself towards the first few items.
One thing I would point out, though, he can't stop Twisted Fate going away.
True.
He can't stop that Destiny.
Put a bomb in his face.
You could put a bomb on him. He's going to turn up with Destiny with a bomb on his head.
Yeah.
But he can't stop him.
No. True, he can't stop him, but should be able to at least bully him in the laning phase and try and deny some farm here.
Oh, we'll see how this one works out, ladies and gentlemen. Game 2 of Week 10 underway. Millennium up against the Copenhagen Wolves. The Wolves, of course, just seen Gambit going out of the playoffs. The Wolves themselves are chasing the likes of Millennium and ROC and SK down at the lower mid-tables. Can they get themselves into the playoffs? They have a slightly higher percentage, of course. They have a couple more wins than Gambit had. The destiny is very much in their own hands.
Ooh, Kevin here, YoungBuck, spitting him out. Now, Unlimited is waiting nearby as Blitzcrank if Kevin decides to stay around, but Soren in the mid lane. Ghost Flash, it's what we normally see on a TF. It's very, very strong for ganking potential, very strong late game, but it makes you slightly weaker in the early game in the laning phase. And now with a Flask as well, yes, you got some extra sustain, but you're very, very squishy. 2 bombs from Kerp and an Ignite, you might be forced out of the lane.
Could be all she wrote, and of course if KottenX can get onto as well, it's going to be big problems. So we'll see how this one works out. At the moment, it seems that the top lane blue buff is probably where KottenX is going to start. We are seeing red buff start for Brokenshard almost certainly. He's waiting up around there. We're going to wait seeing the duo lane though of Woolite and Unlimited currently in the mid lane. So is this going to be a mid lane pairing, or will they rotate down towards the bottom? They are going to go bottom.
They were just waiting to see if Millennium wanted to either invade into the jungle or if Millennium was swapping around with Kevin up in his top lane. They did see him actually stay, and therefore they now move down together. The 2-on-2 lanes. And Tristana is a very good laner, but so is Corki, so it's going to be a lot about the hooks here from the two supports.
Well, this is the trade that I was wondering, because I'm
look at the damage already.
Pretty sure to go in and get one of those stun cards down, you have to be in range to put that bomb on your head. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Every single time it's off cooldown, and you can see he's already just bullying away. It's one of the most annoying things, because as soon as that bomb's on your head, you know you can't do anything about it.
Yep. Nothing worse. And what you need to do is, of course, run to your teammates so they also get hit by the damage.
Standard
just to send a message and show you're the guy in control.
I'm not sure that's the exact way you should go about it, but thanks for promoting that style. So, level 2 hit for both mid laners, looking like Kerp may well keep himself good style of pressure. This one, I'm interested to see how the hell this is going to work out. Kevin on Yasuo in this top lane, coming against YoungBuck, who, honestly, on Gragas, is favored to be the #1 top laner right now.
And we actually seen this matchup in the mid lane, where Yasuo can farm really well in the laning phase against Gragas, but Gragas is the guy who can set up potential kills either by himself, or if Brokenshard joins in and you are level 6 on Gragas, you just knock Kevin back and it's very hard for him to get away. Seems just for now, Kevin is doing well in the laning phase, but both of them actually farming pretty evenly, and we need to see what happens later on. Of course, it was a mid lane matchup, still same champions, different players.
Double buffed up KottenX, looking to try and make some plays here, moving in towards the jungle area. Brokenshard himself is there. It's the top lane he's heading towards, though. He's going to try and get around the backside of YoungBuck, who is unawares right now. He's going to come around. He should be able to get in. It's a good knock-up from Kevin. Comes around the side. Doesn't get a great deal of damage, though. The body slam does get himself away.
But notice the way Kevin positioned himself. As soon as he jumps towards YoungBuck, he moves behind him so he can just body slam away from him. He's forced to flash body slam. It's a very good setup by Kevin to force the summoner away from Mr. YoungBuck. Now just staying here up in this lane, even though Brokenshard just showed himself with the ward.
Yeah, Kevin getting vision of that ward, knows that the jungler is in the top lane. It gives the safety towards the bottom lane, who is honestly under a little bit of pressure here. He's keeping even in farm, though. And to be fair, you would expect that one between a Corki and a Tristana. Of course, Tristana will get his longer range as the game goes on, but we're only at the level 3 stage right now. It doesn't seem we've had too much early aggression between these two, despite them both having hooks.
Tristana normally will always push the lane due to explosive shot and just keep pushing it in, keep pushing it in. We've seen over in NA where they go static shift first item, walk back down to the lane and just constantly push it, take the tower, go mid lane, do the same thing, keep farming the jungle camps as well, and then skyrocket towards your Infinity Edge and get your 2 items, which is your first power spike as Tristana. Need to see if Woolite wants to do the same. But now he's just happy farming both supports, staying behind the minions, nobody really looking for anything.
Very passive play from the two lanes. Brokenshard, he's looking to make a play. Slides in, flag and drag on Kerp. He comes quickly around. Still only level 4, remember. No ultimate available for either of these. KottenX now taking a lot of damage. Has to flash away. Stun guard, no. Safeguard isn't available. No. He gets caught away.
One more.
Oh, Soren, can he pull the yellow? Yes, he can. Flag and drag comes through. It's a double kill for SorenXD.
So Kerp here, he tried to flash over to KottenX to get him to join the fight, but Brokenshard was already part of everything here, did so much damage to Kerp, he was very low. KottenX was left by himself against 2 members from Copenhagen Wolves, and they just get a double kill going towards the dragon as well here. Only the dual lane from Millennium nearby to try and stop it. We'll probably just ward it and get the timer.
Yeah, that's all they can do here. Not going to get too close. Or are they? The hook comes in. A double hook, actually. Unlimited catching out there. There's the dragon going down on the Wolves with a hot start here against Millennium.
Perfect start. The funny thing is, Brokenshard is the jungler in Europe who absolutely loves Jarvan the most. He really thinks Jarvan can dual this in easily in these early stages. We just saw it before here. He did a lot of damage to KottenX, but it was mainly because Kerp was forced out of the fight instantly, and then KottenX went in by himself in a 1v2, and of course nothing he could do. But Brokenshard is the guy who often talks about how Jarvan is such a good jungler, and definitely up amongst the top junglers.
Absolutely, in the moment though, Kevin keeping that pressure on YoungBuck, has found himself gaining a little bit of an advantage, but we'll see where that 2 kills can go. You can already see the advantages built in items. Almost got that Fiends complete. Just 900 gold is all he requires for that one. Meanwhile, triple Doran's ring was picked up by Kerp. Hook on Unlimited. They got the jungle support this time around. Creaton comes in, KottenX on towards him, but Unlimited just honks his horn and drives away with Overdrive.
Heal was used by Woolite just to make sure Unlimited could get away here. Now Copenhagen was just going to pick up the farm they can. Creaton and Jree, actually just in general being a very passive bottom lane. Saw the action in mid lane, we've seen a gang up in the top lane. But for now, just been slow farming. Soren, though, is level 6, looking towards the top lane, where Kevin, troll face, is already gone.
Yeah, to expect something there. Kevin himself goes back, gets himself that Zeal, static shift, first item, looking like for Kevin. Meanwhile, YoungBuck yet to go back. We do see Kevin again starting to be a bit more aggressive, get some good poke on towards him, make sure he does go back to base. It's explosive cast being used there, but that's on a very short cooldown, as you all know. So Brokenshard got himself the red buff. We'll keep track of him to see if he wants to look for any kills. Just about to hit level 6. Speaking of level 6, Soren taking a big blast from Kerp this time around.
Yeah, nice little trick on Zillion. If he's standing next to a minion, you just double bomb the minion. You get instant damage for both bombs. And you saw Soren here get hit by both of them. Taking a lot of damage, but still has the flash to try and sustain back. And will or should be looking for a gank here soon. His ulti is still ready. He wanted to go top lane. Kevin was already gone. I've just been staying in his lane against Kerp. But Kerp is actually, because he's playing Cillian, he's a champion who can roam between lanes fairly easily because of his speed up with his E. And then try and join him if Soren TBs him.
That didn't work.
Nope.
Blue buff. Accidentally, I think Soren being a little bit cocky there, just thrown out the cards, not needed it, and went a little bit early there. And Brokenshard ends up with the blue buff. So Kerp gets himself the blue buff. We'll have a slight advantage, you feel, maybe with that blue buff. We'll see whether it works out with them cooldowns on those bombs. Brokenshard, of course, could come around and get himself another gank on towards him. Kerp being a little bit more cautious this time around.
So KottenX up in his top lane here. Kevin wanna try and set it up. No knock-up for him yet. And YoungBuck is already pretty tanky, only building towards the Rod of Ages, which is Gragas himself is just both fat and tanky.
Well, he loves to chug down that beer, and that's exactly what he's doing. We are going to see KottenX going on towards him. Flash, easily used from YoungBuck, quickly gets away from that one.
I want to see what Kerp actually wants to build in his mid lane. Triple Dorns, because he died, he wanted their early dominance in his laning phase, so just get instant combat stats. We saw Faker build tier into Athenes, and he upgraded the tier afterwards. I've seen straight death cap Cillian, if you just like crazy damage but you have no mana regions, so it's not ideal because you can't do longer fights and you can't really poke. It's just all in damage and then you're pretty much done. So I would expect him to go towards the Fiends, but the triple Dorns will slow him down a little bit.
Double bomb on towards him. It's just annoying when you can get that damage down so quickly and you can't react to it at all. You just got to accept it. Woolite hooked in there. Creaton's going to give us some good damage away, but again, you can just rocket jump away from there. SorenXD pops out that Destiny. He's coming up towards the top. It's Kevin they're focusing on. Gets the flash stun on towards him. Flag and drag bouncing in. A Brokenshard gets himself a kill.
Everything invested into getting this kill there for comboing and they're going to push it down. KottenX is in this mid lane, so Soren will run back, try and wave clear, maybe trade tower for tower here.
Well, they're going to push it as hard as they can, KottenX and Kerp.
It's mid tower.
I think they should be able to get this one down. They will trade for the top tower, I expect here. But 3 kills for the Wolves, and it's a very good opening lane phase for them. I don't think YoungBuck is going to get this tower.
No, there's no teleport on Kevin, so he needs to run. He needs the next minion wave to arrive here from YoungBuck. Won't be there in time, so he's forced to go to back away from the tower at least. So Millennium respond with the mid tower, even though KottenX got a kill in this top lane. So actually worth it for Millennium.
It does open up the map a little bit for both mid laners. We'll see how they deal with that one. Of course, Destiny was used, but it's a pretty quick cooldown. Kerp himself is going to look to get involved, and we shouldn't underestimate, of course, the ultimate that Kerp will have now when it comes to the team fights. It's going to be a big deal breaker maybe if it's used on the right target.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to use it on the right target because there's no real tank on the side of Millennium. Yes, KottenX will build some tankiness, and Woolite getting hooked again.
Another great hook. This time he goes for it, and again a rocket jump away from Woolite puts him to safety. Valkyrie was not used by Creaton to close the gap.
But Jree, he needs to delay his flay here and wait for the jump from Woolite, and then he flays, stops him from jumping away and force him straight into the box or to flash away. He's flaying way too soon. Land the hook, go in, wait a second, and then once Woolite starts jumping, you flay. Do the same thing against Caitlyn. When she tries to net away, you will stop her, and therefore force a flash.
Well, 3 members of Millennium closing down, now make that 4, all moving to the tower. Kerp's going to come around straight towards the bush where Brokenshard is lying in wait. They know he's there. Though Dragon's up, they see Brokenshard comes around the corner, gets a quick bomb. They're going to force him away. Millennium go for the Dragon. Well, we do see Copenhagen Wolves, they're moving for this. They may be a little bit too slow though.
There's a lot of damage on Kerp here with the large rod. He might actually go for the death cap build, but let's see. Millennium on the Dragon. TP coming in for both top laners.
They're going to come and join the fight here. Unlimited's going to get the focus. Jree taken very low. He's tanking the Dragon actually right now. The Dragon on towards him. Creaton gets singled out there. There's going to be the ultimate use coming out from Kerp. It saves the day for the jungler, but Copenhagen Wolves are coming out so well in this fight. They get themselves 2 kills for 1. I think the Dragon also went across that Millennium. They managed to react on that one. They also pulled Kerp, so technically they got 3 kills. But nonetheless, 2 is only going on the board.
KottenX never managed to actually get his ulti off, so he couldn't set up an ulti for Kevin. None of them were used in the fight if you look at both Kevin and KottenX at the moment. So not a good fight by Millennium, but they did get the Dragon. We'll lose the mid tower, however. So definitely in favor of KottenX and Wolves.
It's honestly a tricky, dangerous position for Millennium to be in that pit. When there's a Gragas on the opposite side, Explosive Cast can just burst him all straight down. He's Unlimited comes straight in, silences as many as he can as well.
Notice here, Kevin TPing behind, KottenX goes in, but he gets knocked up, and then he dies with the ulti from Kerp. So he didn't get any knock up. Kevin couldn't use his ult a single time in this fight, and therefore KottenX Wolves can clean it up, take mid tower. And we did see an issue for Millennium. When you don't have a tank, I know we're very early on in the game, but we saw how squishy they were in these fights. KottenX went in, instantly just dropped, and had to get the ulti from Kerp, got back up here, got the dragon, and managed to jump the wall at least. But no tank or nobody from Millennium who can actually take any damage at this point of the game.
It's not just KottenX, of course, that has no fear. We saw Unlimited just trundling straight in there, no fear whatsoever. I'm gonna get a power fist into either AD carry or your mid laner's face, and there's not a lot to stop them. Honestly, there's nothing to slow them down.
Do what they want, but still a risky setup by Millennium, staying in the Dragon Pit. It's very easy for KottenX Wolves to find the right target because everyone is just grouped up, and they were the ones to start the fight as well. Jree was forced away instantly because he got hooked in and had to flash away. Not flash away, but was just forced away or out of the fight instantly, and Kerp will actually go for his death cap. Very first item. Only has the Doran's rings as the mana regen. So I want to see how it works in the longer fights. He might run out of mana.
Let's see how this fight works out. KottenX is going to join him. There's Explosive Casket. Will force him away, and good flash there from YoungBuck. Dodges out. That's 3 times. He's had some great flashes every time KottenX has come up.
Every single time he flashes back up, KottenX joins in, force it, and then push down the minion wave. Brokenshard, however, instead of paying attention to the top lane at the moment, he's going down towards the bottom lane. Soren's going to do the same thing.
It's going to be a 4v2 in the bottom lane. Creaton and Jree, they're already making tracks. Can Jree get the play straight on him? It's a good stun on towards Creaton. Not going to be able to get away with this one. He just gets pancaked by Brokenshard there. And now Jree, he gets locked up. It's going to be another double. Oh, good Zillion ulti. Not going to be enough though. He's not going to get away. Yes, he is. It's the flash from Jree.
So Kerp joining in, saving the day here, at least for Jree. Still lost. Creaton will lose the bot tower, from his top lane. Both Kevin and KottenX pushing in, and YoungBuck is actually dead.
Yeah, while that all happened, YoungBuck, of course, was taken out in the top lane from the pairing of KottenX and Kevin, and they were pushing, so that's a tower apiece for both Millennium and the Wolves.
So both junglers picking different lanes, but both of them actually picking up kills, getting towers for the team as well. Brokenshard, however, looking very good on this Jarvan. So we're just going to see actually the kill again. YoungBuck, he stayed even though his flash was gone. Now they get the kick and ulti from Kevin. It's such a good setup. It makes Yasuo so hard to deal with in these 1-on-1s or 2v1s because he joins in.
Soren caught out again. There's another Kevin ultimate. Now Brokenshard's going to get locked in. Oh, great hook comes out from Jree. Brokenshard tries to run, but it will be a double for Creaton.
And down his bottom lane here, Kerp pushing in. He will be able to get the tower. The rest of Millennium can push up mid lane and force Woolite now to choose. Do I want to try and defend this bottom lane or the mid lane here? Good setup by Millennium and getting 2 very important kills for him.
It's going to be Creaton, Kerp is going to push this bottom lane down. He's going to have to take it with the next wave, but it will go down. Jree joins him, and that will be the 3rd outer turret of the game for Millennium. So, on towards the inners. Let's see if they continue pushing. I don't think they will go much further than this. They don't have too much support. We do see Kevin. He's going to head towards the top and cover off and defend YoungBuck's push. And of course, Millennium will have to step away. Wolves are all reacting.
And notice here, Kevin, first item played during King. Normally, we always see static shift first item just to get the wave clear, the upfront burst, some early crit damage, or crit as well. Gone for Blade, simply just to stay in his lane here, sustain himself one-on-one against YoungBuck and just farm. Get his second item, his 3rd item now. And then he can really become strong in these team fights. Once you have the static shift in Infinity Edge and you have 100% crit rate, yeah, if you're an AD carry and you get locked down and Yasuo gets onto you, you die.
Trinity Force and Infinity Edge, of course, picked up by the 2 AD carries. Mid lane, we did see Kerp, he has completed that. Rabadon's Death Gap, Soren looks like he's probably going to head towards that as his 2nd item. Potential Void stuff for Kerp coming out 2nd. What is he going to go with? You said about the multitude of item builds that you can go with Zillions these days.
Could also be Haunting Guys just to get some more damage. Haunting Guys into Void Staff could definitely be an option. Just full magic penetration now. And just look to do as much damage as possible in this mid-game on Zillion. Still, his issue might be the mana. I want to see how he handle it in the team fights, because late game especially, you want to just spam your W just to get your ulti off cooldown, get your E off cooldown, and it costs a lot of mana.
Well, you talked about mid game. This is the time to shine for Millennium, and of course it is another dragon fight that is potentially brewing. 15 seconds. Wolves being very cautious that they don't walk straight headlong in towards this bush, which Millennium were waiting in.
Unlimited constantly moving around this split screen, looking for someone to hook in. Jree can do the same thing, however. And everyone just waiting. Not a lot of wards around this dragon here. Just one pink ward from Millennium. And otherwise...
I think Unlimited was considering a blind hook in towards that bush there. Doesn't need it, doesn't go for it. We do see YoungBuck now, had gone back. He's going to go towards the top lane. He's got teleport available. Kevin making his way, actually stealing the red buff, while the rest of the Wolves do try and take this dragon. So he's going to come in with the red buff as well. There's the teleport. Kevin joins the fight here. Then coming around the side. Unlimited hits that overdrive. The death sentence will not land. And now the teleport counter. YoungBuck comes in. They try and turn it around. Ghost hit by Soren. He doesn't get the gold card though in time. And now we see KottenX coming deep on and towards Unlimited. Explosive cast being used by YoungBuck. Forces Millennium away. Woolite follows straight in. Gets straight on towards him. It's a great ultimate for Kevin. He just obliterates the Wolves there. And they were not expecting so much damage. Your Brokenshard sacrifices himself to try and prevent the death of his mid lane. But it was a 4-for-1 turnaround fight for Millennium this time.
Such a good setup by Jree here. He landed hook onto Woolite, went into the middle of the Copenhagen Wolves team, knocked them up here. Kevin joined him. We're just going to see it again here. Wait for Jree to land hook. Unlimited, he wants to flash hook. Doesn't work for him. The first kick from KottenX, Kevin doesn't really follow up. And it's all about Jree now. On to Woolite. Jumps in, gets the play, gets the knockback, and Kevin jumps in, hits multiple members from Copenhagen Wolves. Everyone drops low. The bomb from Kerp as well, hitting 5 members here. Everyone just drops so low. And Scumbag Jree didn't even... Scumbag Kerp didn't even want to ult his support.
Just lets him die. Yeah, he had that ultimate. Actually, he did use it. He used it on
Kevin, but...
Kevin, yeah. Well, I mean... I guess when the Yasuo goes into 5 members, you kind of expect him to be focused, but...
all about the support. Save the support.
It was Jree that started everything else, and of course, as an ex-support player, you would say that. I do say ex-support, you try and think yourself a mid laner these days.
It's not going really well.
No, it's not. No surprises there. Nonetheless, blue buff being picked up by Soren. And Millennium now with the kill advantage and the gold advantage. That was the second dragon of the game for them. Let's see what they can do here. We did talk about Millennium being strong in this mid lane. Of course, the Wolves will get a little bit of a power spike as the lane game goes on. The question is, can they hang on long enough?
So losing a dragon fight definitely wasn't something Copenhagen wanted to do. They didn't even actually have to stay and actually team fight. They disengaged first, forced the TP from Kevin, could have just moved away from the dragon, but yet they were actually the one who speeded up towards Millennium. Unlimited tried to flash hook onto something they really want to team fight, even though Millennium are so strong now in this midpoint.
And YoungBuck, if you remember, used the explosive cast very much at the start. Oh, Woolite caught out this time around. Kevin just hunked him down straight on towards him. Unlimited almost caught out Soren in the jungle. He's going to ignite. It doesn't matter. Oh, Kerp does get it with the bomb, actually. I think the ignite may well finish the job. Unlimited now in trouble. Jree comes in. The flame goes on towards him. Creaton puts the rocket in the wrong direction. Finally does find himself the kill. And that is another chunk of deaths for the Wolves. This time it's another 3, and Millennium continue their bloodthirsty madness. And those 2 members, Creaton once again having a fantastic game on Gorky.
And Millennium are just so strong in this mid game here, finding the kills, getting the towers. Everything started from the last dragon. Copenhagen Wolves, they wanted to team fight, they went in, they got destroyed, and now they're just losing more towers. Oh, Brokenshard going in, denied.
Played straight away by Jree. The Wolves are actually looking to pursue here. Are we going to see a belly slam?
There's no ult on Soren, so he can't really join.
No, I don't think. I think they need to stop the pursuit here. I think Millennium are actually happy to try and take this fight. YoungBuck trying to force them away. The Wolves are not backing away from this one.
Let's see here if they want Unlimited actually moving around. See if he can sneak in a hook. Millennium running as a team, however, they're fully aware of Copenhagen Wolves actually chasing them. They might just look for the next fight. Ulti is ready for Kevin and KottenX.
Yeah, they're just forcing them away. They want, I think, take the middle turret. That's what they're trying to bully them away from. They could take the middle and the top. Top turret almost certainly. YoungBuck's going to have to tank this one down. It will get dropped. Woolite will take that. Mid turret is going to get defended, though. Millennium coming around in force. They know that it's a 5-on-3. They're chasing them down that mid lane. I don't think they've got enough to catch on towards them. KottenX is not quite quick enough. And the Wolves, good tactical play. Get themselves a turret out of that.
Yeah, so Made sure Millennium couldn't recall and just return back to the lane, so it just kept forcing him to run away, and therefore take the top tower. Didn't actually get a mid tower, even though the minion wave was pushing down. Millennium managed to get around and defend it at least.
Nomicon picked up by Kerp, the second item, so getting some of all that bleed damage on towards him. Zonya's Hourglass picked up by Soren. We'll see whether he can do some of his famous Zillion play, Twisted Fate play, jumping in towards the team and popping in.
Zillion can do the same thing, to be fair.
Well, technically,
Flash in and just ult yourself.
Full troll. Didn't work out so well last week if you would have kept a keen eye on Twisted Fate players. We'll see whether it works out for Soren.
Well, let's see here. Unlimited waiting in there. Lovely corner when you're playing Blitzcrank. Just waiting for a single support to move up and just hook him in, but the rest of KottenX Wolves weren't really ready, and they don't want Jree at this point.
No, it's 4 members in the mid lane. Kevin split pushing in that top. Remember, of course, split pushing is very fast on a Yasuo. It's got that static shift, got that Bloodthirster in there. He's going to be chunking down those towers if left free in that top lane, and that's what Millennium are trying to force here. They know that YoungBuck's going to have to go up and deal with him, and I think they fancy the 4v4.
Question is if Millennium want to try and go for a dive, because you have Zillion ult. So KottenX can go in first, or Jree can go in, give him the ult, and he can just tank up the tower. But they do need to blow up a target from KottenX Wolves instantly, so it would require Kevin to move down from this bottom or from the top lane. Because the issue with a Yasuo with teleport is you need to be there when the fight starts. Because you need to be there for the first knockups, use your ult. So if you TP in while the fight is already starting or already going on, you might not get a chance to use your ult, like we saw in the very first team fight of the game.
Oh yeah, let's not discredit KottenX Wolves here. That was the perfect fight for Kevin in that last fight.
Oh yeah, last one.
Landing that ultimate. That's the perfect wombo combo that you're looking for as a Yasuo player. You're so happy when somebody lands that. So Wraith being stolen away by Kevin. And honestly, everything is slowly being clawed from Millennium here, building that gold gap over KottenX Wolves.
And even better in the last fight, because they got so many members knocked up, the bomb from Kerp just hit everyone.
Yeah.
Like double bomb, instant death cap Zillion.
It's the best team fight they could have hoped for.
Exactly.
Absolutely the best situation. Worked out well for them. We'll see how this pressure is manifested. Dragon will be spawning right about now. Millennium are going to be all over that one. And actually, well, the Wolves are not going to react to this one. They don't really have any positional advantage on this one. So it's an easy Dragon for Millennium.
Pretty smart by the Wolves at least to not try and fight for this one. Saw it last time.
Oh, Soren out of position.
Oh, ghosting away. Look here, KottenX trying to come around. Too far away.
Yep, Soren.
At the bomb and speed up as well.
Kick on him, didn't go for it. Very dangerous play. Soren with that summoner spell burnt. Millennium happy to go back and spend some of that well-earned gold. Of course, they've just took themselves down that Dragon, so we'll see a couple of items popping in. Another BF sword for Kevin along with that Giant Belt, so he's got a hell of a lot of damage and health now to boot. Speaking of boots, it's Kerp, got himself the Sorcerer's Boots. Infinity Edge picked up by Creaton along with that Trinity 4. Static Shiv was, of course, picked up by Woolite as well. Lichbane now for YoungBuck. And this is an interesting one. This is where really it's going to be one of the key, I feel, YoungBuck. You know, he's had issues, it's safe to say. Don't think they're going to take the Baron here. It's going to have issues on ability-powered champions in the past. Those explosive casts are going to be vital in these team fights.
Everything for KottenX Wolves in these team fights is going to be very, very important because Millennium are ahead at the moment, because they have so much AoE damage. If KottenX Wolves miss position and stay together as a group, it's just perfect for Millennium to kill multiple members very, very fast. But yeah, with YoungBuck, he's the guy who can either start the fight with Unlimited, or he's the guy who can disengage it. Otherwise, you have your safe engage in Brokenshard going in on Jarvan. But because there's a lot of mobility on the side of Millennium with Lantern from Jree, in case someone like Kerp gets caught out of position, if he doesn't manage to speed up first, then it can be hard for Brokenshard to actually pick a target. Creaton, of course, can jump out. KottenX can jump out. Kevin, if there's a minion nearby, would be able to do the same thing. Otherwise, you do have the Lantern and the speed up. So it can be hard for Brokenshard to actually start a fight, and therefore it's going to be a lot about YoungBuck, how he uses his ulti.
Tricky game for AD carries here, dodging all these hooks. Of course, we've seen Woolite hooked a few times. You haven't seen Unlimited landing too many so far on Blitzcrank, but he only needs to land that one key one. Bottom lane, you can see in the lower corner of your screen between YoungBuck and Kevin continuing to fight back and forward over that tower. Millennium are rotating around trying to gain advantage over the blue buff, which I believe has spawned. So we'll see whether they manage to steal that one away. Millennium, though, not able to put too much pressure. There's good wave clear from the Wolves, but now it seems that Kevin is getting a little bit of free time. There's the blue buff being taken away. Whether this one's going to smite it out, I think KottenX. No, it's going to be given across to Creaton. As Millennium rotate round, they're going to take this bottom turret. There's no one really stopping it other than YoungBuck.
There's no minions either, so they're actually just tanking the tower to get some damage and now forced to back away. Look, the minions are coming all the way down here on the bottom side of the map. So Millennium have a hard time actually pushing because the wave clear from Gragas from it with the fade. Oh, Kevin!
Kevin gets caught out. It's going to be dropped down, but again the Zillion bomb was a point there. YoungBuck gets hooked in. Soren goes down, and Millennium turn on the power as they push it towards it. The bombs are going off left and right. Woolite gets taken down. He's dropped. The bomb will be enough, and there's going to be a double, a triple picked up for Creaton once again. His stats just continue to tumble as he destroys the Copenhagen Wolves with an easy ace and 2 towers.
And who cares about the late game if you can finish the game before you can even get towards it? Millennium are so strong in this mid game, they keep getting the team fights and they keep winning them.
Incredible, incredible stuff. I talked about Creaton early on. 27-28 were his stats on Corki in 3 games played. 4 games is looking to just grow even more. What a hook.
Hook onto Kevin. It's actually just a bait. Oh, there's a Gragas. It was just a baby. Back in the team fight. Ulti was used by Kerp. And everyone from Copenhagen was able to kind of pile onto him. So now all the AoE damage from Corki, from Zillion, just hits everyone. And there's nothing the Wolves can do. They need more time. Especially Woolite needs more time on this Tristana before he can actually deal with Millennium.
Wow, so 16-7. Bit of a contrast to the previous game, that's for sure, in terms of kills. We knew it was going to be a bit of a bloodthirsty affair between these teams when we saw the pick and bans. Nobody was looking to play passively. Unlimited could get a hook on Jree. Jree in trouble here. Has got flash. He's going to have to use it to get out. He's going to hook himself onto the Baron, and he's home free. Baron started off now. Millennium on towards it. Brokenshard. Can he be the man of the moment? He's going to have to jump in, but instead he gets knocked away. Not getting close enough in time, and now they're all in trouble. Kevin jumps on towards him. Gets himself down 1. Gets himself down 2. Creaton picks up that kill. Soren, you've got a gold card, but there's 3 on your tail. Instead he has to flash away, and the Wolves evacuate once again as Millennium get themselves 2 in a Baron.
And damn, KottenX, he's very, very fast on this linear. He was the guy who jumped out, kicked Brokenshard away, jumped back into the Baron pit, smited it, got it for Millennium, and made sure Brokenshard couldn't even get into the Baron pit and try and steal it. And then Kevin just jumps in onto Woolite, crits him in the face, he's forced to jump away, picks up a kill. So Baron, 2 kills, and now pushing up towards this mid lane.
So, Yasuo top lane seems to be a big deal, that's for sure, working out well. Is it a counter that they found against a Gragas, or is it simply just a well-played team fight with that comp? That's going to be the inhib turret going down. There is a very dead Woolite, didn't even have a chance. Hook on YoungBuck, he comes in, he's in trouble, he goes down. It's another kill for Creaton as they chase on towards Unlimited. They could finish the game right now as we see some wild cameras. Millennium will catch on, that's the inhib going down, the hook will not land on Soren. And what's he going to do? He gets caught out, has to use the Zhonya's instantly. Brokenshard pumped it in towards the team. Soren gets focused on, he goes down. It's Kerp that picks himself up. It's another picked up for Creaton as well. Unlimited just playing possum on his fountain. Can't do anything as Kevin keeps him at bay. The Nexus will go down and Millennium destroy the Copenhagen Wolves in a 30-minute matchup.
Really well played by Millennium. They knew they had the mid-game come and they just forced the fights here. Copenhagen Wolves, however, they have done it in the past, did in this game as well, where you pick these fights early on, even though you're actually in a disadvantage. Simply meant Millennium won the second dragon fight, got very far ahead, and used it to just snowball the rest of the game.
So, Corki stats for Creaton. He's now 37-3-35.
Well, who needs Lucian anyway?
That's not a bad turnaround when Lucian gets banned out. You know what? I'll just fall back onto Corki. Pretty good on him.
It works really well because they are so aggressive in this early mid-game where Corki is very strong. And we see them, they love to just find the fights. And once they do, Corki fits in perfect because he's so good. Trinity Force and Vintage pretty much every single time for Creaton. So once he hits both items, he will melt you. Especially because if you look at the lineup from Copenhagen Wolves, didn't have anyone who could actually tank the damage from Creaton because it was way too early in the game. Gragas went Rod of Ages into Lich Bane. No tanky items yet. Brokenshard actually picked up a Brutalizer, I believe. Yeah, picked up a Brutalizer on Jarvan, and then he built towards tank. No armor, however. So Creaton just melted everyone.
Once you get on towards him, they're in trouble. We need to talk about the Yasuo in the top lane as well. 5-2-15 for Kevin. Fantastic turnaround when everybody's playing Gragas, everybody's pulling out Maokai. He goes, you know what, I'm going to go Yasuo, I'm going to go full aggression. And it fits, as you said, the team comp and Millennium's playstyle because they love finding fights.
Love finding picks and fights, and when you have a Zilean, you can just jump in. You don't really need a tank. It's what we saw from Kevin here. As long as you get the knock-up, get your ulti off, you just get the ult from Kerp every single fight.
Lifeline support from a Zilean as well.
Yeah, exactly. So you go and you do all the damage you can, you die, you come back to life, and you just try and do it again. So Millennium were basically just rolling over Copenhagen Wolves, and every time they did get a knock-up and a setup for Kevin, he would go in. Laning-wise against Gragas, it was very even. They just farmed, and then KottenX came up, forced a flash from YoungBuck every single time. Otherwise, it was pretty much a farm lane for them. Nobody really killed each other just one-on-one or forced each other away. One-on-one, it was all about the junglers joining in whenever something happened.
So let's talk about Kerp's mid-lane Zilean. It's the first time we've seen it in Europe. Of course, we had a Jree on support Zilean, but now we've got a 2-1-16 it was at the end there. And of course, his ultimate, could have used it one more time. Could have saved Jree, but we've seen Jree being left in the Dragon Pit once before. So what do we make of it overall? This is a new mid lane that's coming out, maybe just a counter Twisted Fate. Were they expecting it? Because obviously when you look at the pick and ban phase, they knew what was going to happen. They knew there were going to be potentially a Gragas or Twisted Fate.
Yeah, so I would say it works well against Twisted Fate because you can put so much pressure in the laning phase and you can speed yourself up to join the lanes wherever he ganks. But it's not a counter pick per se. It's just very, very strong. Again, in a composition like this one where you have so much dive-in potential and you have so much damage, you have a Zilean who builds Death Cap first item, full-on damage on his bomb, and also his ulti will now make sure you come back with like 90% HP. So just overall, worked really well in the comp, and Kerp played it well.
And this will call, despite the fantastic start that the Wolves had, that double kill for Soren in the mid lane. So, what a great win for Millennium. Let's head over to Shox and Quickshot, who are standing by with Kevin's Yasuo.
Thank you very much, Djemel. Indeed, Kevin, who is playing Yasuo in that game, as Trevor and I are going to talk to him about that win. Kevin, talk me through picks and bans, and of course we want to know about the Zilean first, who we saw earlier this week in OGN. Why did you guys want to play it?
We wanted to play exactly what we just played. We had the picks set down besides bot lane, but we knew 100% they would pick Gragas, so we didn't even bother to first pick it or something, because I feel confident against it, and I don't really have to ban it or pick it from someone. So that's basically it.
Quick follow-up regarding the Zilean. We obviously seen FLICKR play it earlier this week. Joe was actually telling me that ZZTie had played it over in the LPL about 2 weeks ago. How long has Millennium been practicing this composition? Because you said it was exactly what you wanted.
We started to play it a bit in scrims, just for fun actually. Kerp wanted to try it because he saw it on FLICKR and Zoloki, I think. And we started just for fun, and it went good. And this week we just had the goal to practice that, and with Yasuo, just a super strong combo. So definitely thanks to FLICKR as well.
Well, then talk me through that combo, because the Fisio was mentioning it's not about the Yasuo-Gragas matchup, it's about what you can do in this composition. So talk me through the lane matchup and what came after that.
So the lane matchup normally is pretty equal. I have to play really good to actually get the lead or something, and I think I didn't do it too good this time, but it's fine. But overall, in this comp with Zilean and the potential for knockups we have with Trash, and that's it, I think.
Lee Sin?
Lee Sin, of course. Oh, sorry.
Well, I tell you what, talking about the knockups, I actually want to talk to you about one of the replays. Let's pull this up onto your screen. It's the first big Dragon fight. It comes in around 18 minutes on the clock. Crowd's very excited for the replay, Kevin.
Exactly.
I want to know what's happening in the communication. Gold is even, towers are super close, and up till this point, it felt like the Copenhagen Wolves were somewhat in control of the game. So let's roll this clip out and talk me through what's happening in your mind and with your team.
So basically, my team actually wanted to go mid and push, but I said, no, let's fight. And so everyone turned and we tried to engage. We saw it didn't work out and it wasn't in our favor, so we turned. But as we saw, like they chased us for no reason. Sadly, the kick was out of range for me, but it was good. And then this awesome grab lens, and we just decided go, go, go. I ultimate, and we basically just killed them all.
So was the big threat for you in this situation the Blitzcrank hook? You know, what was it that made you decide to run away and then re-engage? Because obviously, seeing Unlimited miss that flash hook is a big signal. But what else were you concerned about in terms of that team comp?
I think we used speeds, for example, from Zilean, and just the potential for our engage was gone with Zillion E down. So we just decided, and we didn't want to go too far into their territorium right there, because they have still a strong team comp, and if Tristana gets some free kills, they will snowball. So we were a bit cautious and played this time a bit with brain.
Yeah, one last thing I want to ask you about the game, because I loved that last moment where you get hooked in and then you get the Zillion ult on you. Is it a matter of, I know I'm going to revive, I'll be fine, or do you get a little scared when you die there?
I got actually a lot scared. Like I thought actually I'm going to die because Zillion, like Kerp was silenced as well. So I was like, oh shit, maybe I will die. And we actually threw it. Luckily he got it out and we turned it.
Right, good stuff. Now, you guys here in the standings, you can still get top 2. Actually, you're doing so well. What do you think it is that has changed you guys recently that you have been able to make that last step up?
To be honest, I actually have no clue. We just started to play way better as a team as well. We feel super confident, and bot lane is just playing super good. So we just trust each other, and we have the backup from everyone that he will play good. So that's why actually I can just play whatever I want as well with Yasuo and with other champions as well, which I maybe can play as well. We will see.
Well, fantastic game from you guys, Kevin. And now we're going to check in to see what you guys had to say on Twitter this week when we asked which European LCS player or team do you think adapts to new patches the fastest and why? The first one is from Ido Berlin or I Do Berlin. Fnatic, versatile players and large, varied champion pools allow them to adapt to any change fast and efficiently.
Yeah, I think that's the truth. Soaz in particular stands out in my mind. And as a team, Fnatic have always been fairly innovative. If you go back to double teleports last year, the Fnatic Bush camps that would make work, they're just a smart team with smart players.
Kevin, is that something you also always have to take into account playing them?
For me, Soaz just is in his meta right now, AP tops, crazy laners as well. So he's right now in his favorite meta right now. So Soaz for me right now, a really great player.
All right, the second one is from @GS Umbrian. Shook, especially with his flavor pick of Riven in the jungle to thrive off the rise of immobile mid-champ picks.
The irony, while his point is correct, is that was the first time that we've actually seen Shook playing not Lee Sin, Evelynn, or Elise all split long. So yes, it was innovative in that regard, but he needs to keep it up for that to be 100% true.
We will see what he will pick in the next matchup, of course. The last one is from... Oh, go ahead.
Maybe Ashy jungle.
Ash jungle. Who knows? Arrows from nowhere. The third one is from @iSolia. I think that Millennium have been the best adapting to the patches. They have been equally amazing on them all. Kevin?
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
Has Millennium been the most adaptive to the patches? Because they're saying you are.
Maybe in some way, yes. I think we don't find picks ourselves. We look a lot on OGN as well. So I don't think so.
All right, but well, you tried some new things here and it certainly worked out for you guys. Those were some great tweets, but we'd still love to hear more from you. Remember to follow us @LOL Esports and use the hashtag LCS to weigh in on the conversation. It's Fnatic versus Alliance. When we come back, need we say more? Don't touch your browser.
Lose yourself to dance. Lose yourself to dance. Please don't show that. Maybe. Please.
Taking a lot of damage. That's the flash away. Stuttgart, no. Safeguard isn't available. No. He gets caught away.
One more.
Oh, Soren, can he pull the yellow? Yes, he can. Flash drag comes through. It's a double kill. Follows straight in. Gets straight on towards him. It's a great ultimate for Kevin. He just obliterates the wolves there. And they were not expecting so much damage. Kevin gets caught out. It's going to be dropped down. But again, the Zillion bomb was a point there. YoungBuck gets hooked in. Soren goes